Hello everybody, my name is Lucy. Welcome back to the Body Coach YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be taking you through a lovely little simple yoga flow. We're really going to be breaking down some of the basics in the flow. So we're going to be working with some of the postures, we're going to be going through a vinyasa, and I'm going to be breaking down each of those postures and working on our form so that we have a correct base for when we start to move into a few more complicated flows or longer flows. So you don't need to be advanced to do this class. Beginners are very welcome. We're going to be taking it nice and slow, and it's just going to be around 15 minutes long. So a nice little stretch from your head to your toes. So we're going to start in a seated position. Take whatever that means for you. So if sitting cross-legged doesn't feel comfortable, you don't have to sit like this. You can sit with your legs out straight, however feels comfortable for you. And we're just going to close down the eyes for the first few minutes of this class and just start to check in with your body. So just noticing how your body feels, maybe taking a little scan from your head all the way down to your toes. And maybe even noticing how you feel today. Do you feel a little bit tired? Maybe you feel super energetic. Either way, one is not good or bad. We're just simply observing. And as we move through the flow today, I really want you to focus on where you can feel the poses, the sensations that you can feel in your body. And we're also really going to be focusing on structure, so how we structure each of the poses. And let's just start with the breath. So bringing your awareness to the breath. Let's take a big deep breath into the belly, all the way up into the chest. And then a nice slow, soft exhale. Let's do one more like that. Nice big deep breath in. And a slow, soft breath out. Good, lovely. Now we're just going to start to open the eyes nice and softly. When you're ready, as you inhale, let's take a nice big stretch up with the hands. And exhale, let's bring your hands down to your heart. Beautiful. We're going to come straight over into our tabletop position. So you're going to come into all fours. You want your hands to be directly underneath your shoulders, your knees to be directly underneath your hips, and then spread the fingers nice and wide. And we're just going to start by taking little circles into the hands. So just warming up through the wrists. Good. And then switching directions, rolling around the other way. Lovely. Let's flip over onto the back of the hands, just gently rocking back and forth into the back of the wrists. And then switching over to the other side. Good. Then coming back into your tabletop position. Now we're going to move through our cats and cows. So you might see this quite often in a few of my yoga classes. It's a really great way to warm up your spine. So I want you to try and sync this movement with your breath. As you inhale, we're going to drop your belly down, look up towards the sky. And as you exhale, think about pulling your belly in as you round the spine and then drop the head, also pushing the floor away. Let's do two more of those. Inhale, drop the belly down, slowly looking up to the sky. Exhale, pull the belly in, round the spine, drop the head. One more. Inhale, drop the belly down, looking up. And exhale to round. Lovely. Let's come back to a nice neutral spine, so a nice flat spine. We're going to start with your right leg. We're just going to step your right foot in between your hands at the front of your mat. So if you do have yoga blocks at home, feel free to bring your hands onto these blocks. Otherwise, just keep your fingertips down onto the floor. We're just going to rock forwards and back just to open up our hips and our hamstrings a little bit. So as you inhale, we're going to really bend into your front leg as much as you can, dipping the hips down, and then see if you can lift the chest. And as you exhale, let's push all the way back. See if you can straighten that front leg, maybe peeling the toes up off the floor. Let's do two more. Inhale to come all the way forwards. Exhale to push all the way back. Lovely. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Good, beautiful. Let's slowly come forward. We're going to come into our low lunge from here. So instead of just reaching the arms up and trying to come up like that, we want to try and push down into the floor. So I want you to push your right foot into the ground, start to engage your core. Now before you even lift the hands off the floor, the body lifts away from the front thigh, and then your hands slowly start to lift all the way up into that nice low lunge. So while we're here, we want to stack your shoulders over your hips, and your hips want to be tucked under. So there's two different variations of our low lunge. You can be like this, or if you push forwards, you might notice that you get a nice big stretch through that left hip flexor, so across the front of the left hip. Let's move through those a couple of times. So pushing back, zip up from the belly. Exhale to lunge into it, opening that hip flexor. Good. One more. Inhale and exhale. Lovely, let's bring those hands all the way down to the floor. We're gonna step that right foot all the way back and let's switch sides. So left foot comes forwards in between the hands at the front of the mat. Let's do a couple of rocks again. So try to sync this movement with your breath if you can. Inhale to lean forwards, lift the chest. Exhale, push all the way back, lift the toes. Good, 2 more. Inhale and exhale. Lovely, last one. Inhale, coming forwards. And exhale, pushing back. Lovely, slowly come forwards. Now remember what I said, let's push that left foot into the ground, slowly sweep your arms forwards and lift all the way up into that low lunge. Good, again, stacking shoulders over hips, holding it here, take a breath in. Exhale, let's lunge into that leg, opening up that right hip flexor, so across the front of the right hip, and then slowly pull back. Good, 2 more, lunging forwards. Good, pushing back. Last one, bringing it forwards and pushing back. Beautiful. Let's bring both hands down to the floor. Step that left foot all the way back into your tabletop. Now we're going to come into our downward facing dog from here. So make sure your hands are under your shoulders and let's tuck your toes under. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, we're going to lift your hips up towards the sky. Now you want to think about pushing your chest back towards your thighs. And you want to make sure that your downward dog is not too short, but also not too long into a plank. So you want to step those feet in and you can have a little bend in the knees. Now when your knees are bent, it gives space for your pelvis to tilt so that you can bring your chest back towards your thighs. And don't worry if your heels are not always on the ground. Mine aren't always on the floor either. That's just sometimes due to tight hamstrings, and sometimes it can be because of the structure of your ankle. So wherever you are, it's best just to think about pushing that chest back towards the thighs, so opening up through the body. Let's take a big breath in and a big breath out. Good. Now from here, we're going to come up onto your tiptoes. Let's roll forwards into your high plank. So slowly coming forwards into that high plank. Notice if you had to step the feet back there, that might have meant that your downward dog is a little bit too short. So we're going to move from your high plank to your down dog. You want your hands and your feet to stay in the same position. So inhale, let's lift up. Exhale, let's come forwards. Let's do one more like that. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. From here, you want your knees to come down to the floor. Now we're going to bring our chest to the ground. So you want to think about going over your hands. Instead of moving backwards with your elbows, think about bringing your chin to the top of the mat as you lower all the way down, elbows into your sides. Once your belly reaches the ground, as you inhale, we're going to lift your chest. You want to push your shoulders away from your ears, coming into your cobra. From there, let's lower back down. We're going to tuck your toes under, push back through your tabletop, and then lift those hips up and back into your downward dog. And that is your vinyasa. We're going to go through that 2 more times and see if we can make it into more of a little flow. So from your down dog, as you inhale, slowly come forwards into that high plank. As you exhale, we're going to drop those knees. Chest comes down to the floor on the same exhale. Good. Inhale, let's come up into a little back bend. And exhale, we're going to tuck the toes, bring it back into your tabletop, and then lift those hips up, down dog. Good. Again, we're going to do it one more time, and let's see if we can make it flow even more. So you want to really make this as fluid as you can. Inhale, come up onto your tiptoes, into your high plank. Exhale, bend the knees, bend the elbows, chest to the floor. Inhale to come up into a little back bend. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, push it back through your tabletop and up into your downward dog. Well done. From here, we're going to come up onto your tiptoes and let's walk your feet all the way up towards your hands at the front of the mat, or you can walk your hands back to meet your feet as well. So in your forward fold, you want your feet to be about hip width distance apart and have a little bend through your knees and then hold onto your elbows. So we're just releasing our lower back here as well, maybe taking a little sway from side to side. You can shake your head yes, or shake your head no, just releasing any tension in the neck. Lovely. Then let's drop your hands down to the floor, bend through your knees, and as slow as you can, let's roll all the way up to standing. Good. Now you want to push down through the soles of the feet as you come all the way up. Let's take a nice big shoulder roll. Now even as you're standing here, instead of just standing how we normally stand, you want to push into your feet, squeeze the thighs, squeeze the glutes, engage your core, lift your shoulders up and then roll them back down. So even though we're just standing, this is still quite an active pose. Now we're going to move for a vinyasa again. I'm going to give you 2 different options on this one. As you inhale, let's reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, fold all the way down into that forward fold. Good. As you inhale, we're going to come up halfway. So just bring your fingertips onto your shins and roll the shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, let's drop your hands down, step it back into your high plank. So in our first option, we're going to drop your knees down just like we did before. Second option, if you want it to be a little bit stronger, we're going to keep your knees lifted. So wherever you are, take a breath in. Exhale, let's lower down. So if your knees are lifted, you're just going to come down halfway till your elbows are at a right angle. From here, coming into your back bend, you're going to push into your hands, lift the chest, come all the way up. And ideally, you want to have your thighs just floating, hovering off the ground. From there, let's tuck your toes under. We're going to come back into your downward dog. So lifting those hips up and back, downward dog. Well done. From there, let's come up onto your tiptoes. We're going to bend your knees and look in between your hands. Now you can either walk to the top of the mat or you can take a nice little hop all the way up to the top, coming in back into that forward fold. As you inhale, let's come up halfway. Exhale, let's fold it back down. As you inhale, let's bring those hands all the way up to the sky. Nice big stretch. And exhale, hands come down together. Good. We're going to take one more vinyasa to get us down to the floor. So it's your option whether you want to take the first option with your knees on the ground or second option with your knees lifted. Inhale, let's reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold all the way down, drop the head. Inhale to come up halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, let's plant your hands down, step it back into your high plank. So either keep your knees lifted or drop the knees. I'm going to drop my knees this time. Bend the elbows. Let's bring your chin all the way down to the floor. Inhale to come up into a little back bend, or maybe you're up into a deeper back bend. And exhale, let's bring those hips back. Downward facing dog. Well done. Now we're going to drop our knees. Bring your knees out either side of the mat. Toes together, push those hips back towards the heels and drop your head down. So this is our child's pose. It's also a very common pose that you'll find in a lot of yoga practices. And it's a nice little resting pose. It opens up the hips, can open up the spine a little bit. And it's a really grounding pose. We're bringing ourselves down to the floor. So let's start to ground ourselves down, bringing our breath down a little bit. Just taking nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Every time you exhale, just softening into those hips and softening into the shoulders. Good. Now we did a lot of work on our shoulders during those vinyasas, so let's stretch out our shoulders a little bit. We're going to take your left arm underneath that right arm, all the way out to the side, palm facing up. And you can have your side of your head or your forehead resting on the floor, whatever feels more comfortable for you. Relaxing through the shoulders. Taking nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Good. One more breath in. One more breath out. Good, lovely. Let's switch to the other side. So we're going to bring your right arm underneath your left arm this time. And again, just find that nice little shoulder stretch through the outside edge of your right shoulder. Taking nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. One more breath in. One more breath out. Beautiful, well done. Slowly bringing it all the way forwards. Let's walk those hands all the way back. We're going to swing your legs all the way around. We're going to come into a little hamstring stretch for our legs. So let's flex your feet up towards the sky. We're going to take your 2-piece fingers and hook them around your big toes. Now I need to try and keep your belly on the thighs as much as you can. And we're just going to shuffle your feet down towards the top of the mat and then wiggle your bum back. But see if you can keep a little bend in your legs. So it's not about having straight legs here. It's more about just releasing the spine and releasing the hamstrings. Good. Let's take 3 deep breaths here. So every time you inhale, seeing if we can lengthen the spine a little bit. Every time you exhale, you're sinking down a little bit more. Good. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale and exhale. Lovely. Last one. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Well done. Let's slowly roll it all the way back up. Now we're going to come back into our little seated position. So you can either sit cross-legged or you can take any comfortable seat that works for you. We're just going to take a couple of little twists just to release the spine before we finish the class. So when you're ready, let's take both arms up towards the sky. We're going to take your right hand across to your left knee. Left hand reaches back behind you, taking a little twist. And let's take 2 deep breaths there. So a nice big breath in. Exhale, can you find a little bit of a deeper twist? Good. One more like that. Inhale. Exhale, deeper twist. Beautiful, well done. Inhale, let's take both arms all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, let's twist all the way over to the other side. Good, 2 deep breaths, big breath in. Exhale, twist. 1 more inhale and exhale. Lovely, slowly coming back to the center when you're ready. Let's take both arms all the way up to the sky, big breath in. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Close your eyes for a moment. Notice how your body feels after moving it, after being active, and notice how your mind feels as well. Maybe after slowing your breath down a little bit, we feel a little bit calmer. You can come back to this practice whenever you need to, whenever you want to come back to the basics. Thank you so much for flowing with me, guys, and I will see you again next time.